Minsk, the capital of Belarus, is not only the city where I lived and studied for 5 years, but a place I love visiting every time I get a chance. It is one of the cleanest cities in the world, not to mention how beautiful it is. And one can argue that Minsk is one of the greatest neoclassical European cities of the 20th century, with most buildings in the city center resplendent with colonnades, Baroque archways, obelisks, and heroic sculptures. It is a place full of history. Minsk is a city that offers gorgeous places to walk around, landmarks, architecture that captures both the old and the new, the city of sculptures, and, of course, the river Svisloch can't be missed. In 2021, Minsk was celebrating a 954th anniversary, which is why you can see a number of decorations around the city. And since I mentioned how old Minsk is, let's look back on its history a little bit. The city was first mentioned in 1067 in the medieval chronicle. Minsk, the capital of modern-day Belarus, is founded as a fortified city within the Principality of Polotsk. In the 13th century, Minsk peacefully joined the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. By the middle of the 16th century, it was an important economic and cultural center in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It suffered badly during the Russo-Polish War and the Great Northern War. Minsk was annexed by Russia in 1793 and enjoyed a speedy development throughout the 19th century. Minsk was occupied by Nazi Germany from 1941 to 1944. Before the Second World War, Minsk had a population of 300,000 people, but this had fallen to around 50,000 people by 1944, and up to 80% of the city was destroyed. After the war, Minsk was almost completely rebuilt. The historical center was replaced in the 1940s and 1950s by Stalinist architecture, which favored grand buildings, broad avenues, and wide squares. Many magnificent and precious buildings, including churches and synagogues, were lost in the post-war decades. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Minsk became the capital and largest city of the Republic of Belarus. It is increasingly more confident in being the capital city, and it seems like it's getting more and more beautiful every time I get to see it. Alright, I'd say now it's time to walk around Minsk and see for ourselves how stunning the city is and how much it has to offer. If you arrive in Minsk by plane, then already on the way from Minsk National Airport, you will enjoy beautiful Belarusian nature. And if you take a shuttle or a bus from the airport, you will be dropped off at the central bus station. It's interesting to see how much it has changed over the years. The bus station is located next to the railway station, which is a fantastic spot to start our tour around Minsk. By the way, this modern railway station is relatively new. It was completed in 2002. However, the original railway station was opened in 1871. During World War II, Minsk railway station was completely destroyed. It was rebuilt in 1945-1946 and served until 1991. Drastic change in the looks, isn't it? Right in front of the railway station, you'll see the gates of the city of Minsk, the two symmetrical high towers in the style of Stalin classicism. The gates of Minsk impress at night due to their interesting and thoroughly projected lighting. From the gates of Minsk, we'll head to the Independence Square, from where we will begin our grand tour. On the way there, you'll pass by this recently built building of Faculty of International Relations at Belarusian State University. And here we are, an Independence Square, which is one of the landmarks on Independence Avenue. It's very spacious, clean, and right to the heart of Minsk. It has many flowers, green plants, and park banks. There is also an underground mall here called Stolica, translated as the capital, in case you feel like shopping or having a bite to eat. In this square, you'll see the government house, St. Simon and St. Helena Church, Belarusian State Pedagogical University, which was nicely decorated on the occasion of the Day of Minsk. Minsk City Council and Belarusian State University can also be found here. This square used to be called Lenin Square. It is currently one of the biggest squares in Europe. The fountain in Independence Square is one of the most beautiful water architectural objects in Minsk, built in 2006. The composition of the fountain is a large round pool with a glass dome in the middle, on which 3 storks sit, ready to take off. Storks were not chosen by chance. Storks are a symbol of Belarus. Around the dome and the pool you can see the coats of arms of the administrative centers of Belarus. It is interesting that the glass dome also serves as the roof of the underground shopping center I mentioned before. At night, the square is lit up by these gorgeous lights. And from here, we are heading further along Independence Avenue. You will see how outstanding it is, with a number of landmarks along the way. And here is one of them, the main post office. This is truly an architectural monument built in 1949-1953. Classics of Soviet architecture, open-work columns, grandeur, and the chain of architectural ensemble pleases the eye. And from this angle, you can also see Minsk City Council. Let's go further. Independence Avenue is the main street of Minsk. No wonder you'll find a number of landmarks along the way. On the left, there is a cinema Центральный, translated as Central, which is the oldest operating cinema in Minsk. The house in which the cinema is located is included in the state list of historical and cultural values of the Republic of Belarus. An entire block of Central Independence Avenue is occupied by this yellow neoclassical building with an ominous temple-like Corinthian portal, the KGB headquarters. Flowers, flowers, they are part and parcel of Minsk streets. Throughout its history, Independence Avenue changed the name several times. Some of the names were Stalin Avenue, Lenin Avenue, Francisco Scarina Avenue, and in 2005 it became Independence Avenue. It surely is the main avenue of the country, with all its grand buildings on both sides, as well as cute cafes and coffee shops. On the left, there is GUM, which is the first largest department store in Minsk. It is located in the very center of the capital and first opened its doors to buyers and guests on November 5, 1951. The next building is also another example of grand architecture, which now stands out for fast food lovers. McDonald's has been operating there since 1996. In this same building, you will also find a supermarket and a metro entrance. We are approaching Oktyabr Square, Oktyabrskaya Площадь in Russian. It is the central square in Minsk where you'll see the Palace of the Republic, the business center Capitol-Palace, and the Palace of Culture and Trade Unions, built in 1956. The Palace of the Republic is the central building in Oktyabrskaya Square. It is used for conferences, congresses, and performances. The construction lasted from 1985 to 1997, and some inside works continued until the end of 2001. Now, this recently built business center Capitol-Palace looks pretty modern with a blend of the surrounding architecture. And you know what used to be here before? The World War II Museum, which has also relocated to a different place and upgraded itself in every way. We'll go there later. There is another important building, the Central House of Officers, known also as the Army Palace, currently serves as the main cultural institution of the Belarusian armed forces, built in 1939. It was one of the very few buildings that survived World War II. By the way, this Oktyabrskaya Square looked like this in the post-World War II years. There was a monument to Stalin until 1961. These days, it's a modern square. You can easily get here by subway or any other public transport. The square is decorated with flowers, and in a holiday season such as Christmas and New Year, there is usually a wonderful Christmas tree standing tall. It is definitely a nice place to see when you're in Minsk and walk, especially on a bright sunny day. Now, besides these grand buildings in the central square of Minsk, there is also a cozy little garden called Aleksandrovsky Garden Square. From the garden, you have the whole view of Oktyabrskaya Square. Behind the park, there is a presidential residence and the National Academy Theater of Yanka Kupala. It is such a nice green place right in the center of the city. And in this garden, you will also see a sculpture, a boy with a swan. While we are in this part of the city, I would like to divert our course from Independence Avenue and show you Lenin Street, which looks really pretty with the fountains, trees, and cafes, making it such a nice place to take rest during the day. On a sunny day, it becomes even more enjoyable. If you walk down Lenin Street from Independence Avenue, you'll eventually face Freedom Square and the back of the Town Hall. Minsk Town Hall is an architectural monument of the city reconstructed in 2004. According to records, the first building of the Town Hall was actually made of wood, constructed presumably in 1499. Near the town hall, you will easily spot another important landmark, the Church of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Baroque style, the main Catholic church in the city, built in 1710. Behind the town hall, there is a small glass pyramid at street level which allows you to view the underground cellars of the town hall. They say that the first governor of Minsk in 1796, Zacharia Korneev, loved his horses and carts so much that a bronze statue of horses have been erected next to the town hall, which are also in memory of the fact that this was once a favorite parking place for horse-drawn cabs who chased after rich clients before the advent of motor vehicles. You can also spot Belarusian State Academy of Music in this same area. You can tell that Freedom Square is truly filled with amazing architectural landmarks. We're in the upper city now, and right from the town hall, we are coming out to a wonderful view of Cathedral Square. The Holy Spirit Cathedral is right in the center of the square, and it is the central cathedral of the Belarusian Orthodox Church. This place is probably one of the most popular landmarks to see when in Minsk, not only because of the gorgeous architectural and historic creations surrounding it, but because it brings all the way to the spot called Nemiga and the Svisloch River, which we will go to later. For now, let's see what else we can find in this upper town area. It is a popular tourist spot, so no wonder you'll find different restaurants, and here is one of them. I love their idea with sculptures outside the restaurant. If you feel like taking a stroll along the pretty street, head to Komsomolskaya Street, which is also located in this historic part of Minsk. Vintage lanterns were installed in the middle of the pedestrian zone to give a particularly unique feeling. In the evening, it's a nice and busy place to be at if you feel like going to a cafe, bar, or just enjoy the lively atmosphere outside. Now we are coming out of the underpass of Nemiga metro station, right across from the upper town we've been to. There is a memorial right at the exit to commemorate the tragedy that happened on May 30th in 1999 when 53 people were killed in the Nemiga stampede. Memorial roses was erected here with 53 metallic flowers on May 30th in 2002. The composition of monument contains 40 roses and 13 tulips. Right at the entrance to the Nemiga metro station, there is the Nemiga River, which is the right tributary of the Svisloch River. From here, you have a wonderful view of the Trinity Hill, Troitskaya Predmestye, in Russian, a historical district. It was the trade and administrative center in the past. In the distance, you can see a sports palace, Hotel Belarus, and one important place, the Island of Tears. We will come back here later in the video. But for now, let's go back to Independence Avenue as we have so much more to see there. And on the way there, we will pass by another famous landmark, National Academic Opera and Ballet Theater, located in a park in the Trinity Hill district of Minsk. A small, pretty park, Troitskaya Gora, surrounds the theater, and one can find beautiful sculptures on the ballet and opera theme here in the park. This one here is Opera Muse, for example. The theater puts on a wide range of grand performances throughout the year, with the usual break during the summer months. Belarusian and Russian classics are frequently staged, as well as the usual international favorites such as Carmen or Swan Lake. Awesome architecture, both inside and outside, with European cultural luxury style that you can enjoy when you go there. This gorgeous fountain definitely adds its certain charm to the place, and many come to this place not only to enjoy a performance at the theater, but just spend time in the park. There is definitely plenty of area to walk around and enjoy the nature. On the way to Independence Avenue, you will go through Marat Kazay Little Park. You won't miss the monument to Marat Kazay, after whom the park was named. Marat Kazay was a Soviet partisan, scout, and pioneer hero who gave his life during World War II. Marat Kazay's sculpture is made of bronze. In the sculpture, the authors captured the last moments of Marat's life. As in that heroic moment, the boy holds a grenade in his clasped hand, and with the other hand, he holds the gun in which the cartridges run out. We are back on Independence Avenue. Remember, we have started on Independence Square, walked to Oktyabrskaya Square, and now we've reached Belarusian State Circus. I remember going there with the school when I was about 10 years old. Now I'd never visit the shows with animals. I do believe it's cruelty, and our fellow animals deserve way better from us. We are walking along the avenue, and I should probably mention that Independence Avenue crosses Minsk radially from its center towards the northeast. The length of the avenue is about 15 kilometers. It's one of the last mainline neoclassical architecture ensembles in the world, as you have already noticed, and one of the longest streets in Europe. Here you can see the Svisloch River with recently installed fountain. We will stop by there later. And we can't miss an important historic landmark here, House Museum of First Congress of the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party. We've reached Victory Square. It is a memorable place in honor of the immortal feat of the people during the Great Patriotic War. It is located in the very center of Minsk, right on this main Independence Avenue we've been walking along. The central place in the architectural ensemble of Victory Square is the monument, or obelisk of victory, and you can see the eternal flame there. Victory Square is the key landmark of Minsk. This is where parades and solemn events on Victory Day, May 9th, take place. Let's go inside the underpass. It's not only the way to get closer to the monument and eternal flame on the square, but also a mini museum to remember the victims fallen during World War II.
Очень трогательно. Впереди уже подсветки такие идут. И музыка раздается такая, при которой хочется просто молчать и слушать. Очень все здесь как-то даже и не улыбается.
It is never easy to even imagine what the country went through during those years. The least we can do is to make sure we remember and honor everyone who fought hard to protect their families and the motherland. This monument was built in 1954 in honor of soldiers of the Soviet Army and partisans of Belarus who died in the battles for the liberation of Belarus. The height of the obelisk is about 40 meters. The monument is faced with a grey granite and is completed with the image of the Order of Victory. In 1961, at the foot of the monument, the eternal flame was lit. In 1984, on Victory Square, there were installed pedestals with capsules with the land of hero cities. This is what the square used to look like before the obelisk was erected and the square was established. Huge change, isn't it? And since we're already here, I'd like to show you my alma mater, the university I used to go to, Minsk State Linguistic University. This is where it is located, on Zakharov Street. And this is how it looks from a distance. And this is up close. Great memories indeed are connected with this university. Not far from here, there is a nice vegan restaurant I can recommend going to. I will have a separate video about vegan restaurants in Minsk, so stay tuned. From here, by the way, you can also take a tram to go to other parts of Minsk. And now we are in Yakubkova Square. It is actually the next stop after Victory Square. This place is named after a famous Belarusian writer Jakub Kolas. The place landmarks include Tsum, department store, a rather interesting and authentic Soviet-era shopping experience. There is also a grand concert hall philharmonic here. If you take the underpass, you can either enter the metro station or continue to walk further. This is where we'll go in order to get to Komarovsky Market. On the way, we'll pass a little Komarovsky Square, where, by the way, this restaurant Lido is located. It's a large, upscale, buffet-style cafeteria that has a huge area of traditional Belarusian food on display. Next to it, there are shopping centers. But we are interested in Komarovsky Market here, which is also distinguished for having these interesting sculptures nearby. And here we are, Komarovsky Market. It can be truly called the Minsk heritage. Today, it is the main food market of the capital. Let's go in. You can see the bustling market hall with vendors selling fresh produce and flowers, deli products and baked goods. There is also a fresh veggie and fruit area outside the main building during the warm season. Once you're done grocery shopping, you can definitely take rest here. This little square with a fountain and lots of pigeons is just amazing. There are also a couple of cafes in case you're hungry. To get to Komarovsky Market is pretty easy by public transport. Our next stop is Chelyskintsev Park, an urban forest area in Minsk. The park's area is about 78 hectares. On the territory, there is an amusement park as well. It is one of the oldest parks in Minsk that has beautiful places and nice nature. Walking here is perfect, especially on a warm day. I haven't walked around the whole place, but they say it takes around 2 or 3 hours to see the whole park. And here I wanted to share this little event I witnessed while walking. We're going to take metro now and go to one of the unique landmarks in Minsk. Here is the token you might need in case you don't have a card. And here we are, National Library of Republic of Belarus, the biggest library in Belarus. Next to it, there is a recently built apartment complex called Mayak Minsk that has a big shopping center and lots of cafes, restaurants, and smaller shops. And by the way, there's another awesome vegan place I totally recommend going to. It's called Nova Bistro. This is how Mayak Minsk looks from the library location. But we are here today to see the library. It houses the largest collection of Belarusian printed materials and the third largest collection of books in Russian, behind the Russian State Library in Moscow and the Russian National Library in St. Petersburg. The National Library of Belarus is the main information and cultural center of the country. Its depository collections include about 10 million items of various media. Near the library, there is a monument to Francisc Scarina, Belarusian first printer, educator, and humanist. There is an open observation deck located in the upper part of the National Library's high-rise book storage facility. The entrance is, by the way, on the back side of the building. Visitors can ascend to the observation deck using the panorama elevator. The views are already fantastic starting from here. And once you are at the top, you will be able to look at the capital from a bird's eye view. From here, you can spot Independence Avenue, the Mayak I've mentioned before, and this cute park of riders, also relatively new here. Overall, it is worth coming here at least once to get the feel of how green Minsk is, and while you're going down, don't forget to enjoy the views one more time. Take a walk in the Park of Writers and see how pretty the library looks from different angles. In the evening, the library is all lit up and makes a wonderful sight to look at. I would like to come back to the historic part of Minsk. It's the area of Nemiga and Trinity Hill. This is where the Island of Tears is located. A small footbridge leads from the old town to the Island of Tears, a memorial to commemorate Belarusian soldiers who died in the USSR's 9-year war in Afghanistan. The centerpiece of the memorial is the chapel, with haunting figures of grieving mothers, sisters, and widows at its base. More than 30,000 Belarusians took part in the war in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, around 800 soldiers died, several of them were lost, and many of them became disabled. Right after passing the bridge, you will see the icon of St. Mary engraved in the stone. There is a script on the stone in Belarusian and Russian languages that says, "This memorial is built in the memory of the sons who were lost in Afghanistan, on behalf of the Belarusian mothers who do not want the evil to dominate on their or any other land." A nearby fountain features the boy-like figure of an angel crying teardrops. On July 31st, 2021, I happened to be in Minsk, and I came here during the celebration of the anniversary, 25 years since the establishment of this memorial complex. Representatives of public organizations, military personnel, cadets, Afghan war veterans, mothers, widows, and children of fallen soldiers took part in the solemn ceremony of laying wreaths, flowers, and a commemorative meeting.
Когда весной зацветут тюльпаны.
To me, this event and place are particularly important because my beloved dad served as a military doctor in Afghanistan during those war years. It is wonderful that in Belarus, the memory of those heroes is so much cherished. This historic part of Minsk is truly a wonderful and beautiful place to explore, relax, take pictures, and enjoy the atmosphere of the past. And here's how this area looks when the sun goes down. In case you're wondering what it looks like in the winter, here are some videos I took years ago when I still lived in Minsk. Once you're here, I suggest taking a walk along the river and head towards the Avenue of Victors, the place where we'll see the Minsk Hero City Obelisk and the Belarusian Great Patriotic War Museum. But for now, let's just enjoy the views here. It says Minsk Hero City at the top of the building. Here we are. It is the main venue for the annual Minsk Independence Day Parade on July 3rd. The obelisk is dedicated to the fact that Minsk was declared the hero city on the 26th of June 1974 for its people's bravery during the Nazi occupation that lasted for 1,100 days. The obelisk was opened in 1985, commemorating the 40th anniversary of victory of the Great Patriotic War. Behind the obelisk, there is the recently built Belarusian Great Patriotic War Museum, and visiting it is a must-do once you're here. The museum, in its original location in Oktyabrskaya Square, first opened shortly after the liberation of Minsk from the Nazi invaders on the 25th of October 1944, making it the first World War II museum to open during the course of the war. It moved to its current location here in 2014. The museum has 24 exhibition halls. As of 2012, there were 142,676 items in the museum's collection. There is a victory park surrounding the museum, and it's perfect to take a stroll and relax, lots of walking nearby. It's a wonderful place to spend time with the family. There are children's playgrounds, beautiful fountains, lots of people are jogging here as well. Overall, it's a great park on the embankment of River Svisloch. It is like a forest, which makes you feel like being miles away from a big city. If you want to walk and relax, this is the ideal place. I used to live not far from this park, and of course I couldn't miss stopping by here. Lots of good memories are connected to this place. And this is the type of bus I used to take to go to and from my university. From here, you can follow the street of Very Хороший and you will reach Komarovsky Market we've been to before. And if you're hungry, on the way there is another vegan restaurant, small but cozy with great vegan food. And since I mentioned the vegan place, let me show you a fantastic spot in Minsk where you will not only find tasty vegan food, but you'll love another nature place. They're right next to the river Svisloch. Here is this hipster area where you'll find a bunch of cool bars and cafes, including this vegan one. The area stands out with its colorful buildings and graffiti on the walls. And here is this gorgeous park you will love. I would usually come here when I felt like walking and strolling along the river. You can easily ride a bicycle here. In fact, I saw tons of bikes in the area. For me though, I just loved walking and enjoying it to the fullest. And by the way, from here you can walk all the way to Nemiga and the upper town. You can tell I love nature, right? On the way to Nemiga and Upper Town, you will go through Gorky Park, named after a famous Russian writer. Further on, you won't miss this fountain show, also recent. I hadn't seen it before. Once you reach Nemiga and it's evening, you can witness how lively and joyful the atmosphere becomes. Here's the night view of the places we've been to with you today. Minsk is truly a gorgeous city. It has changed and improved so much since I lived here. I definitely recommend visiting it and spending a few days at least. And this tour around Minsk has come to an end. We are back at the railway station and are going to take a train to our next destination. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something interesting and new for yourselves. Don't forget to subscribe to enjoy more videos about traveling in Belarus and other countries around the world.